Hey everyone, my name is Abby Broughton, and I chose to do my research on love, addiction, and attachment in humans. So, all three of my primary research articles aim to ask this research question, which is what are the consequences of emotional dependencies and unstable attachment styles in romantic relationships? So, given this question, all three papers hypothesize that insecure attachment can lead to this intense, passionate love that mimics behaviors of multiple or various substance or behavioral dependencies like gambling or alcohol addiction that have negative consequences in romantic relationships. So, to study this question and hypothesis, all three of my studies used people that are in love, these pink and blue figures here, or single, this figure here. So, the main testing strategies to find out this research question and hypothesis were self report questionnaires right here, the little cartoon picture, and fMRI brain imaging. And this is just a picture of an fMRI machine. So looking at the results, this is my first study. This is depicted in a scatter plot. And the results of this study revealed positive associations between passionate love scores, which is a self-report questionnaire, PLS, down here on the x-axis, and interference scores on the y-axis. The interference scores included reaction time and accuracy for a series of Flinker and Stroop tasks. And here's a picture of those two tasks right here. And these tasks basically just determine the level of distraction in test subjects. So, if you are in love, can you focus on these two tasks and not be too distracted? So as you can see, the results show that a higher clustering to the right and up show that there is a positive association between being in love and being distracted. So moving on to my second study, all three of these bar charts here. This study used fMRI imaging to measure three factors in test subjects: small worldness, mean clustering coefficient, and modularity. So the results showed that the single individuals in the gray bars here scored higher in all three categories compared to the in love group, which is this orange bar here. So small worldness first refers to the efficiency of brain organization and connectivity. So basically a higher small worldness score implies better processing in your brain. Mean clustering coefficient also measures brain connectivity. So a higher score here indicates better organization and processing as well. And lastly, modularity describes how certain parts of the brain interact with other parts of the brain and the efficiency of those long distance pathway. So again, higher modularity in the singles group, like I said in this gray bars, indicates better pathway communication in the brain. So moving on to these two tables, which is my last study. This study used a Pearson correlation coefficient to look at significant relationships between secure and insecure attachment styles. So table one looks at secure attachment styles and table two looks at insecure attachment styles. And just for reference, a Pearson correlation coefficient closer to positive one suggests a strong positive relationship, and closer to negative one suggests a strong negative relationship. And a coefficient of zero just suggests no significant relationship between the two variables. So looking at tables one and two here, we see that right here, a correlation coefficient of 0.046 in the secure attachment trial suggests no significant relationship between secure attachments and obsessive love behavior. However, if we look down here at table two, we see with the insecure attachment style, there is a coefficient of 0.258, which, as you can see by these little stars, it is significant. And this means that insecure attachment styles and obsessive love behavior tend to correlate. So that's my research and my results. And so overall, it was found that intense passionate love corresponds with reduced cognitive control in the early stages of romantic relationships and increased obsessive love behaviors. Also, some love-related changes in the brain networks of passionate lovers resembles the lower organization and processing seen in drug addicts. This is very significant because love is just such a huge part of the human species and really affects all of us at some point in our lives. So, understanding the effects of love and attachment can help us potentially form healthier relationships or provide insight into treatments for other addictions. So, some major limitations of all the studies that I talked about is that they only use heterosexual college students and they use self report questionnaires. So, I think future research directions should include individuals of varying ages, not just college students, and a variety of different sexual orientations, because we know that not just heterosexual 22-year-olds are the ones that fall in love. And so, unfortunately, though, it does seem like self report questionnaires at this time are the best way to get that preliminary data on love and in loveness, despite their tendency for bias. So, self report questionnaires should be followed up with fMRI imaging of the dopaminergic reward pathways in the brain to compare in love individuals to those with other behavioral or substance addictions. So, that's what kind of sets my future research apart from the research that I go over here on this poster. And so, but besides that, it's pretty similar to this past research that I've analyzed, but it really just includes a broader subject population and focuses more on the neurobiology of it all and the reward system. And so that is my poster, and thank you for listening.